All right, Nick, let's talk about the New England Patriots draft season ever closing in on us. Things are getting more and more interesting by the day, especially if you're a New England Patriots fan, having the number 3 overall pick, highest pick you've had in a long, long time. With a losing season, does come a little bit of excitement when draft time comes around. I think we have an interesting article alluding to some things potentially going the Patriots' way. But let's get into it, and we'll talk about it more on the other side. This is from Tom Pelissero, and it says the belief around the Commanders organization is that they will draft QB JJ McCarthy with this second overall pick. This is the actual quote from Pelissero. He said, "It'll be really interesting because everybody is always trying to figure out, especially at the top of the draft, what other teams are doing. When I had conversations here with executives for other teams who know Adam Peters well and know the situation well, the most popular answer for what they do at number 2 is JJ McCarthy." And that was from at Tom Pelissero over on X. Nick, I think this is really interesting because this kind of came out of nowhere a little bit this week at the beginning of the week. I don't think people were expecting this. I'm curious what your thoughts are on this latest quote from Tom Pelissero. But Patriots fans, let us know in the comment section below with this latest news. This is the last time to get your predictions in the chat, in the comment section below. What do you think the Patriots do with that number 3 overall pick? Who do you think they pick? Are they even going quarterback? Let us know in the comment section below. But Nick, what do you think about this latest update on the Commanders for the Patriots?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely outstanding news for New England. And look, are the Washington Commanders guaranteed to select JJ McCarthy? That would be a surprising selection at number 2 overall. Of course not, right? This could, of course, be a smokescreen. This could be, of course, some subterfuge and gamesmanship that goes along. But the reality is, everyone knows the Bears are taking Caleb Williams at number 1. That's been set in stone now that they've moved on from Justin Fields. So number 2, all attention now goes to that. And look, outside of Caleb Williams, there's a lot of evidence that Washington really, really, really loved and wanted Caleb Williams. They weren't quite as high on Drake May and Jane Daniels, and the fact that JJ McCarthy is rising up draft boards. So there is a little bit of merit to the fact the Commanders could be very interested, in fact, actually targeting McCarthy. But this is all great news for New England, even if they aren't, even if this is just a subterfuge out there. Because now, if the Patriots are even remotely considering trading, now every other team is looking at the number 3 spot and saying, whoa, at first we thought this was going to be whoever's left over between Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Jane Daniels. Now it's going to be Drake May or Jane Daniels. Now we're going to get a shot at maybe 2 guys here, 2 elite guys. And that pick just got a lot more valuable. I think teams like the Minnesota Vikings, again, are now salivating, saying, listen, we could really move up here and get a better quarterback than even we thought, right? There are teams, maybe even like the Raiders, maybe potentially looking to move up and maybe get their guy, right? The number 3 overall pick just got insanely more valuable, which gives New England, of course, a lot of leverage to pursue a lot of opportunities. I think the Minnesota Vikings, I've talked about it before, is the most intriguing option. We know the Patriots, they still have a playoff defense. They were playoff defense last year. They're going to be healthier with Judon and Gonzalez getting ready for year 2 on offense. Even at quarterback, even if they don't get a quarterback, the Brissett is obviously far better than what they were last year. If you pair with the Vikings, maybe swap from 3 to 11 and pick up Justin Jefferson, for example, suddenly you got a team that's really in the thick of contention, right? And then, of course, whatever you do at number 11, your team just got a lot better a lot quickly, right? Or you trade back and just get an army of draft picks and go after a big old school rebuild, right? The point here is New England has so many options in front of them. And this news with McCarthy has just made that door so much wider. This is a fantastic opportunity for the Patriots. At this point, I think you hear every single offer you can get. I really like Jane Daniels personally, and if he's there at number 3, the temptation would be so hard not to select him. But if a team like the Vikings is willing to give you a king's ransom for that selection, I think you probably take it.
Yeah, Nick, and this kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of 2 years ago with the Jacksonville Jaguars, where there was a point in time where everybody thought, okay, the first 2 picks of the draft are going to be this and this. These 2 guys are going to be the guys. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, right before the draft started coming around, people started saying, well, the Jaguars really kind of like Trayvon Young. Or Trayvon Walker, excuse me.
Yeah.
He looks really interesting. He's very athletic, tested very well. And people are like, really? Trayvon Walker, the number 1 overall pick. That's very interesting. Everyone thought, okay, Aiden Hutchinson for sure number 1. then maybe Kayvon Thibodeau or one of those other interesting pass rushers at the top. Trayvon Walker was probably a little bit further down most people's list, maybe even out of the top 5 sometimes. All of a sudden, he started sneaking up draft boards, and we started hearing rumors, started hearing whispers around it. This has me feeling like the Commanders are out there potentially just like floating it out there for the fan base, saying we really kind of like JJ McCarthy, throwing the rumors out there and seeing what happens, seeing how people react to it. I think this is a possibility for them, and it's like you said, this is absolutely fantastic for the Patriots in that aspect. Because I've used the Trayvon Walker example because that is actually what ended up happening. You hear the rumors, everything started surrounding the Jaguars and Trayvon Walker, and everyone's like, there's no way that happens. There's no way they pass up a guy like Aiden Hutchinson, who's the sure thing, and they did. They picked Trayvon Walker. So JJ McCarthy, I'm not saying that he's not going to be a good quarterback or not. I think it's a little bit different situation. But now, if you're New England, like you said, either A, have the opportunity to get Jaden Daniels now, or have your pick between Drake May and Jaden Daniels, or that spot at number 3 really does become more valuable. I think it's a real thing, and I think we can use that Jacksonville Jaguars situation as kind of like a precedent of what teams have done when they started to make an unconventional pick higher up in the draft. They started to float it out early and see what people's opinions were on it.
And if you're looking for more precedent, you don't have to go even to defensive line. You go back a little further back. You look at the 2021 NFL draft, where an unknown quarterback from Brigham Young University by the name of Zach Wilson rose up draft boards this time of the year, all the way to being selected number 2 overall by the New York Jets, right? He was kind of considered a maybe late first round, early second round guy. He has a great pro day, a couple of good interviews, and then he becomes a number 2 overall selection. And look, that didn't work out too good for the New York Jets, obviously. And this sets up the Patriots very nicely when teams are willing to reach and make mistakes. And again, nothing against JJ McCarthy. I really was a fan of him at Michigan. But the reality is, if a team starts to reach, if a team is willing to make a mistake and reach and get a McCarthy at 2, that opens up the door for you to take advantage of that opportunity. And as much as I like Jaden Daniels, the reality is these quarterbacks, even top 5, top 4 selections, they're 50-50 shots. I mean, you go back to that same draft class, right? Trevor Lawrence looks good, but Zach Wilson, bust. Justin Fields looks like he's a bust. Mac Jones is a bust, right? Trey Lance, the quarterback the 49ers picked up, he's heading towards a bust. He's a backup right now for the Dallas Cowboys, right? So you're dealing with a 1 out of 5 hit rate in a quarterback draft class that was supposed to be really good. You even go back this past year, right? You look at Levis, Bryce Young, and CJ Stroud. Stroud looks great. Young, really rough rookie year. Levis kind of rough as well, right? That could be a 1 for 3 class, right? So again, and that's not even counting the 2021 class, which was a total debacle at quarterback. So again, no matter what happens, I'm sorry, 2022 class. But again, the point here is there is no guarantee, even if you get quarterback at number 3, even if you get Jaden Daniels, that he works out, even though I'm a big fan of his. I think the Patriots, if they trade back and trade out of this and let a team like Minnesota, I think it's going to be the Vikings, give you a king's ransom for it. I think that's the smart move. That's how you accelerate a rebuild, build a lot of draft capital, slowly start building a great infrastructure for a good quarterback. And when the opportunity is there, then you make your investment. I think this is great news for the Patriots overall, but because again, their window of opportunity in terms of making a big time deal just got a lot bigger.
Data brokers sell your information to scammers, spammers, and anyone else who may want to target you. Your full name, email, home address, health records, even your relatives. It's all out there. That's why we use Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows us which data brokers are selling our information and automatically submits opt-out requests for us.
Cleaning up our information not only reduces the amount of that stupid spam we all get, but it also protects us from hackers who could use this information to help them access our social media accounts, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. Aura also does much more to protect us and our families from online threats. We also get features like antivirus protection, VPNs, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and more without having to download several different apps. That's really key. One location, get all this great stuff. It's really easy to set up. And the best of all, we get everything at one affordable price.
And you may already have 1 or 2 of these tools already, but not having Aura is like locking the front door and leaving the back door wide open. Aura is always on doing the hard work to keep you safe so you can focus on other tasks and have peace of mind. We value our privacy and we value yours. You can go to aura.com/Saturday to start your 2-week free trial. Also, link below in the description. Again, aura.com/Saturday for your free 2-week trial.